Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Today we will be covering Dark Knights of Steel, which I gotta admit I'm pretty excited for. I have been for a while. It's a 12-issue miniseries that came out this year. It's kind of a fantasy Lord of the Rings style story with the DC characters, which is pretty unique and a pretty weird out there idea, which is the kind of stuff that I personally like a lot. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Classic origin story of Superman begins with the destruction of his home world, Krypton. However, this time, the story is different. Superman's parents, Jor-El and a pregnant Lara, make it to Earth. Lara is in labor and medieval men on horses approach them and shoot their arrows at them. Suddenly, to protect his family, Jor-El's heat vision activates and kills all the men attacking, and their son is born. While this happens, a prophecy voiceover tells us demons will come to Earth, looking like people but aren't. It's seemingly referring to Jor-El and his family and says the demons will take over the world. This prophecy comes from Constantine, who is muttering to himself, and King Jefferson tells a scribe to write down everything he says. Now, in main DC lore and continuity, Constantine is John Constantine, and Jefferson is Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning. Anyways, when asked what Constantine sees, he replies, "Our end." We cut to 19 years later at a place called the Castle of El. Kal-El, aka Superman, is now a prince, and asks a knight named Bruce, aka our homeboy Batman, if he can adventure with him. Bruce refuses because he will be hunting a banshee, which is apparently one of the few things that can hurt Kal-El. Kal points out the hypocrisy by saying Bruce is in just as much danger fighting this thing, and Bruce gives him a silent stare. Alfred tells Kal that look is what Bruce resorts to when he's lost in argument. Bruce arrives at Village, and meets up with Richard and Duke, aka Nightwing and the Signal in typical DC continuity. They arrive at the inn where the Banshee is, and Jason and Stephanie, aka Red Hood and Spoiler in normal DC, have finished evacuating. Bruce heads in telling the Robins they've done well. The Banshee is laying in bed and Bruce approaches her with a sword. He asks if she is a spy sent by King Jefferson, but she refuses and tells him her name is Dinah, aka Dinah Lance or the Black Canary. Bruce tells her she needs to be imprisoned, but she retaliates using her canary cry, which destroys the entire building. Dinah asks how he's still alive, and he says he doesn't know, so she tries again using her sonar voice. This time Kal-El arrives and covers Dinah's mouth so she can no longer scream, and Bruce knocks her out. Kal keeps trying to check up on Bruce, but he stubbornly says he's fine every time, so they take Dinah back to the castle. When they arrive, they are greeted by a jester who is clearly Harley Quinn. Bruce and Kal are taken to Kal's parents, who are mad at Bruce for taking Kal, but Kal won't let Bruce lie for him, so he tells his parents he went on his own accord. Kal says he doesn't need protecting and that his family is locking up innocents who they think could be the magical assassin trying to kill him, which he disagrees with. It's revealed that Bruce was supposed to take the throne when his parents died, but turned it down because he thought the people would not accept a bastard king. Bruce and Kal start to argue over Bruce refusing the throne. Kal's dad takes Bruce for a walk, and Bruce admits he thinks he is cursed with dark magic since he survived Dinah's attacks, and says he should be imprisoned. Elsewhere, Green Lantern tells Oliver, the Green Arrow, to shoot an arrow that he makes from his ring, which he does. Then we get the most bizarre bombshell of all time, which is Jor-El is Bruce's father, which means that he and Martha, Bruce's mom, both cheated, and that's why Bruce can do this stuff, because he has, Jor-El's powers. Suddenly, the arrow that was shot goes directly into Jor-El's eye, seemingly killing him, and the issue ends. Damn, that was a long issue. Lara and Kal-El run out to see Jor-El's body while Bruce storms out with Alfred heading to Hob Forest, where the arrow was shot. Bruce says this is the responsibility of the Green Man. An arrow heads for Alfred's head, but Bruce catches it easily, and he quickly jumps after Oliver, who shot it, cutting off his arm. Alfred stops Bruce from killing him, but Bruce says he wouldn't have. The Green Man talks to Constantine and tells him the job is done. He also tells him the ring told him to leave Oliver behind. Constantine says he'll tell the king, who is training his children to use their powers. Constantine tells him that one is down, but argues if they should keep doing this. The king argues back by saying it was Constantine's prophecy that told them to, and that the elves have been imprisoning innocent magic users. Back at the castle of elves, they are arguing whether to go to war or not. Harley tells Bruce to say something, but Cal gets mad, saying that he is not one of them because he blames Bruce for what happened. We are now on Amazon Island, and an agent named Lois informs the Queen that Jor-El died. Lois goes to inform Diana, who is clearly Wonder Woman, who is out sparring with Zala Jor-El. She tells them the news, and Zala says she has to go, and her and Diana share a quick kiss before she flies off. Kal-El storms into the dungeon to see Oliver. Bruce and Harley advise him against doing anything, but are told to leave. Harley tries to convince Bruce to talk to Laura and Cal and help them calm down, and that imprisoning the magic people for no reason is also wrong, but Bruce doesn't listen. Cal talks to Oliver and says he won't kill him to prove that Oliver and his people are wrong about him and his family. Now, right as he says this, his sister Zala murders King Jefferson's son, so yeah. Jefferson attacks Zala, she tells him mockingly it tickles, and flies off, ending the issue. Now, that was the first 2 issues of Dark Knights of Steel. Like I said, I love the concept. I love this kind of weird fantasy stuff. That's like exactly the type of stuff I love. I'm not sure how I feel about the big bombshell of Bruce's parents, that, you know, he's kind of Superman's brother. I don't know how I feel about that, but a good thing about this is it's not main continuity, obviously, but the good thing about it not being main continuity is you can explore any idea you want, really. Like, when you think about Injustice or any DC Black Label thing, they have complete freedom, which I think is good. So I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's it.